It is October 1929, and the money you thought was safe is already leaking out of the country. Your shoes are cold. A few years ago, jazz came through the radio like America had no ending. New cars rolled past bright storefronts. Men in clean suits said prosperity had become permanent. Now the only sound is footsteps, whispers, and a locked glass door. More than 9,000 banks will fail. 9 million savings accounts will be wiped out. But this does not begin with poverty. It begins with confidence, with credit, with a system that teaches you to buy the future before it exists. Level 0, the country comes home. You begin in 1918, when the war is over, and America feels larger than it did before. Soldiers come home. Factories slow their wartime rhythm, but do not forget the speed. Women have stepped into jobs the old order once kept from them. And something in the country has shifted. The streets feel young again. Loud, restless. You do not call it fragile, you call it peace. You call it progress. You believe the hardest years are behind you. But America is not returning to normal. It is building a machine. Level 1, the production machine. You see it first in Detroit. Steel, glass, rubber, and motion. The Ford Model T moves down the assembly line like the country. Has learned a new language. In 1910, it cost $780. By 1924, it cost $290. The price falls, the line gets faster, and what once belonged to the rich begins to park outside ordinary houses. By 1927, the 15 millionth Model T rolls out of the factory. Then the logic spreads. Radios, washing machines, vacuums. Products that used to feel distant now sit in windows. With clean price tags and electric promises. You do not see the trap yet. You see abundance. You see proof that tomorrow will be larger than today. The machine does not have to force you. It only has to show you what you almost own. Level 2, the desire machine. You enter the roaring 20s through sound first. Jazz behind apartment walls. Radio voices in the living room, advertisements between songs, teaching you the names of things you did not know you needed. A car is no longer just transportation. A washing machine is no longer just metal and motion. A radio is no longer just a box. Each object becomes proof that you belong to the new America. Prohibition begins in 1920, but it does not make the country quiet. The parties get brighter. Wall Street starts feeling like the center of gravity. Everyone wants the latest thing. Everyone wants to arrive early to the future. You stop measuring life by what you need and start measuring it by what the system tells you is missing. Desire becomes normal. Restraint feels old-fashioned. Level 3, the credit machine. You borrow before you are afraid of borrowing. The bank does not look like danger. It looks like polished wood, clean counters, a man behind a desk who smiles like the future has already been approved. You want the radio now, the car now, the appliance now. The system gives you a simple arrangement. Take the life today, pay for it tomorrow. Credit turns waiting into weakness. Because everyone around you is doing it, debt does not feel reckless. It feels American. Then the logic moves from the store window to Wall Street. If borrowed money can buy comfort, why can't it buy wealth? If tomorrow's wages can pay for today's radio, why can't tomorrow's profits pay for today's stock? You do not feel trapped. You feel included. The machine has changed the meaning of debt. It is no longer a warning. It is access. Level 4, the speculation machine. You hear about Wall Street before you understand it. At work, at dinner, in the barber chair, men who used to talk about wages now talk about tickers. Someone's cousin bought early. Someone's neighbor doubled his money. From 1921 to 1929, the US stock market increases sixfold, and every year makes doubt look foolish. You put in savings first, then more. Then the system offers margin. You can buy stocks for only 40% of the real price, sometimes 10%. The rest is borrowed, hidden under the clean word leverage. By 1929, according to the source, 40% of US consumer debt is being used to purchase stocks. Investing and borrowing begin to blur. President Hoover says America is nearer to the final triumph over poverty than ever before. You want to believe him. Working feels slow now. Ownership feels intelligent. Then the machine that made you feel early prepares to make you late. Level 5, the crash. You wake up on October 24th, 1929, still believing decline is temporary. The air feels wrong before the numbers confirm it. Phones ring, clerks shout, paper moves across desks too fast to mean anything good. By the end of Black Thursday, 12.9 million shares have been sold and the market has fallen 11%. You tell yourself it will recover. Everyone does. The system has trained you to treat panic as a buying opportunity. But the following week brings Black Tuesday. Another 16.4 million shares are sold. The market falls 12% in a single day. Within 2 weeks, stocks lose about 1/3 of their value. The numbers drag your savings with them. If you bought on margin, they drag your debt into the room too. Paper wealth disappears, but the loan remains. Leverage lets you rise faster than your wages. Then it lets you fall faster than your life can repair. Level 6, the banking machine breaks. But the market is only the surface. Under it, the banks are breaking. You still think the bank is separate from the market. Stocks are risk. Banks are safety. So you walk toward the place where your money is supposed to be waiting. But many banks are small, thin shops built on confidence and loans that looked safe only. While prices kept rising, some lent too much, some speculated too much. There is no federal deposit insurance yet. If your local bank fails, your money can fail with it. Then the rumors start. In New York City, a false story spreads about the Bank of the United States, refusing to sell a man's stock. Soon, 25,000 people crowd the bank. By the end of the day, $3 million has been withdrawn. Fear moves faster than accounting. You stand in line because standing in line is rational now. More than 9,000 US banks will fail. About 1/3 of America's banks will disappear. You thought your money was inside a bank. It was inside trust. Level 7, the panic becomes policy. When enough people stop trusting banks, money does not simply move. It vanishes from circulation. You keep cash close because cash feels real now. Other people do the same. Businesses sell less. Owners cut wages. Workers lose jobs. Fear becomes a private survival strategy. Then a national contraction. From 1929 to 1933, the US money supply declines 31%. Prices fall, but that does not make life easier. Deflation makes every debt heavier. It makes spending feel foolish. It makes investment feel dangerous. The system is not burning anymore. It is freezing. The Federal Reserve does not stop the contraction fast enough. Hoover's response fails to restore confidence. Then, in 1930, the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act raises tariffs on foreign imports by about 20%. It is sold as protection for American farmers and industries. But 25 countries retaliate. Global trade falls 66% worldwide from 1929 to 1934. The world shrinks around you. The collapse enters the street. Level 8, the survival machine. You stop asking what the market is doing. You ask where the next meal comes from. Industry slows. Companies close. The Great Depression stretches for over 10 years, and unemployment reaches 24.9%. That number is not abstract when you are standing in a breadline. Across America, 34 million people have no income. Shantytowns rise on empty land and take the name Hoovervilles. Then the sky itself turns against the country. Dust storms cut across the middle of the United States. Drought, high winds, and damaged farms turn the Dust Bowl into the worst man-made ecological disaster in American history. 1/3 of Americans are still tied to agriculture, so the damage spreads through families and towns. In 1932, Franklin D. Roosevelt is elected and promises action. The New Deal brings minimum wage, overtime pay, unemployment insurance, Social Security, federal deposit insurance, and the SEC. The system begins to repair itself, but only after it teaches you what survival costs. Years later, the machine moves again, not because everyone understands what happened, not because greed disappears, not because the system becomes innocent. It moves because war production transforms the economy. Factories wake up, and unemployment finally falls below 10%. But the architecture remains. A young worker receives a paycheck, opens a bank account, hears people say the market is safe because it has been rising, sees advertisements promising a better life, a faster car, a future close enough to touch. At first, it is only desire, then credit, then leverage, then confidence pretending to be proof. The Great Depression is not only a story about people wanting too much, it is a story about a system that learned how to turn ordinary optimism into structural risk. And somewhere, another young American looks at a rising market, hears everyone call it safe, and steps quietly into the same machine. If this story made the system feel a little less invisible, stay with the channel. We break down the moments when money, power, policy, and ordinary people collide, not as simple lessons, not as easy blame, but as stories about how the machine works, who it rewards, and who it leaves standing outside the door.